Hi, this is Moon Manuscript, and I'm R.K. Thorne, author of romantasy and space opera. And today we're going to talk about my self-care summer plans. Here is what I'm working on for my self-care summer this year, and I think for my curriculum for the summer. And I think I actually was trying to record this earlier, and I double recorded the audio and it was all messed up. So I'm trying to record it again. Let's see what looks like summer for me. But so yes, for my summer self-care curriculum, I'm thinking of some things. And before I was trying to capture typing this all out, but I'll just go over it very quickly. I was looking over some different frameworks of self-care where you can look at how could I add some structure to self-care. Ask the Scientist is kind of a ridiculous name for a website, but these give some different areas, and I thought that was a good way to sort of structure my summer. So for my sort of physical class or attribute, I'm thinking I will try to make sure I'm doing some exercise every day. I have some arthritis in my hips and physical therapy that I'm finishing up for it. So I want to continue those exercises, but also daily exercise will really help keep down inflammation and keep down any pain. I don't have any pain right now as long as I'm exercising. And right now I probably skip 2 or 3 days a week, but I think working toward every day would be great. Walking is what I think I really want to work on, but the summer is really hard for that because it's hard to find a time that going out and walking doesn't just like drench you in sweat. So I'm thinking if I have to do some dance or yoga inside, that would be fine too. And I'm sure we will be going swimming because it's summer. Swimming and summer are just like sensory nightmares for me, but I'm just trying to roll with it because I know my kids love going to the park and this pool in the summer, so we're going to do our best. And also, I want to do some more for sleep, but I don't really know what yet. So I think I'm going to try to continue to work on that. Like, what could I do related to a habit for sleep, or maybe something I could learn about? I already know that sleep is really important for me. I know that knowledge doesn't really change behavior sometimes, though. So I don't know if learning more will really help me actually get more sleep. So we'll see. Nutritionally, I am going to try to challenge some foods that currently are a little bit of a problem for me. I've been treating my condition, which is something like MCAS or histamine intolerance. And it means that there's a whole bunch of foods that I can't eat without getting sick, sort of like I have food poisoning. So but I've been treating it with a combination of Pepcid and Allegra and some other things. And so I'm going to try to try a few more foods and see if my tolerance of them is any better. So I'm thinking lentils and beans I really miss. Maybe some almonds, lemons, and oranges would be great. Things that are really healthy for you, that will, would be a good addition. And we'll see if that works. If you're interested more in something about MCAS or histamine intolerance, let me know. I'm also going to try to pile on the veggies at least twice a day. And I think as part of this, I'm going to read this fiber-fueled book by this doctor who seems to be very science-oriented. And for my emotional well-being, I think this is a challenging one, but I think I'm going to try to increase my meditation from 1 day a week to 3 days a week, and maybe look for a new place that offers guided meditations. I'm currently using Insight Timer, but I feel like a lot of the free meditations are kind of hit or miss. I really like Mama Zen. It's an app on iOS. But I wanted to have a few less subscriptions for my financial well-being. So I'm trying to look over what's available free and just try to understand if there's some good things that I can do. But I think that guided meditation is really important for me as someone that has sort of like an ADHD-ish temperament. I need something to help really direct my mind to calm my nervous system down. But spending a good chunk of time actively trying to calm my nervous system can also really support MCAS and chronic illness, as well as just feeling better and calmer with my kids. So I think I will try to do that for my emotional well-being. That was kind of a tricky one. I had trouble thinking of what to do for this. For my intellectual, of course, I have the most intellectual because I'm a more intellectually person, but I think one thing for sort of fun is I would like to continue either practicing French or maybe start a little Japanese with my kiddos. I am thinking of continuing to brush up my skills in YouTube, social media, and I really want to learn to write better like hooks, like for reels and stuff like that for Instagram. I have heard of some classes in that, but no one's really been that glowing in their reviews. So I need to think about how do I structure the class for that. And then I also want to learn about Kickstarter. So actually, I should put that I am reading currently the book Kickstarter for Authors. So we can actually change this. By Anthea Sharp. I'm reading that, so I'm going to learn more about that. And yeah, good times. I think for my environmental, I think also I want to do a health check on like each of my house plants and see like who needs repotted, who needs dusted. There is a class on saving seeds at the end of the year that I think would be really fun. And I also think it would be fun to learn more about hygge in the summer. The last research I did about hygge really taught me a lot, encouraged me to have a very different perspective on cleaning and it being about like making my life awesome and feel good rather than doing it out of sort of guilt or obligation. And so I still had a lot of association between hygge and the winter, but everything I read said that hygge is also about the summer and that feeling of, going to the beach with your friends. So I think maybe revisiting it now in the heat of the year would be a good idea. Although I wonder if going to the beach with your friends in Norway is less insufferable than it is when it's here. I don't know. Socially, I was thinking about reading a book for this, but I think maybe just spending some time texting and setting up time to meet with friends, have coffee dates, but also park play dates are probably on the menu here. And spiritually, I think I'm going to read this book called Wild Witch by Rebecca Bayer, that is all about sort of like herbalism and maybe try to figure out what I can do with all the raspberry leaf and mint in my garden and celebrate the summer solstice in the next day or two. That's pretty exciting. If this is the summer solstice, happy summer to you. And financially, I read this really great book not that long ago called ADHD and Money. And no, just ADHD Money, and it just has really good tips and stuff. So I think I want to revisit some of the exercises I did in that book. So there's one called like a cash flow exercise, and I did that for the first 3 months of the year, but I think doing it again for the next 3 would be great. Updating our spending plan, which I got from One Big Happy Life, but I think they have renamed their channel to Bespoke Life or something like that now. But having a spending plan for the year, slightly different than a budget, but kind of like a budget. But I think updating that now might be a good idea, as well as some net worth figures and maybe make some financial goals for the rest of the year would be a good idea. But yeah, so I think that will probably be my curriculum. I think I really like listening to like financial podcasts, but I'm sort of like all over the place. I really like listening to Ramit Sethi and his podcast, but I've listened to like so many of them now that I feel like I've kind of gotten like I've heard all of his advice. So maybe looking for a new podcast to go with Ramit as he makes new content. Might be a fun part of this. So yeah, I think this is a little bit less consumption than normal for me and a little bit more doing, but that's probably a good thing. But I don't know if it feels as much like a class as I would love, but I think some of them do. So we'll see. But this is sort of my plan for making myself a little self-care summer. You know what? I think I have another emotional one, or maybe it's a physical one, which is go in our hot tub and relax. Even though it's hot out, sometimes it's really nice to go at night and get those muscles relaxed. So yeah, happy summer solstice, and let me know, what are you learning about this summer? What are your plans for summer? Do you have goals? And yeah, that's it, and have a good one.